Guys, it is 4 o'clock, so it should be good evening to all. Thank you very much for taking good time out and patiently listening for the chapter 28. This chapter starts at 273, page number 273 to 281. I can see the right after, I think, 25, 24, many chapter are much lays in the pages. Okay, so I'll jump into the page number 3. So chapter 28 says about uh, the number of severity one outages this month is down by more than 2/3. Incident recovery time is reduced by half. I think we all know that at least monthly basis or weekly basis, we just take down our incident recovery timings and meantime responsible responses, I should say, and resolution time. We just take and we see that if we as IT people do need to do some kind of improvement. So this is the way they are into the process actually. Improving the production monitoring of the infrastructure applications. IT knows about incident before the business does. See, actually, monitoring of each and every applications, which includes the infrastructure, is absolutely a mandate these days in the IT. And I have worked on many applications like the BMC Remedy or BMC Tivoli or the ITBM applications, ITBM application, ITSM applications. So I think these tools makes our life more easy. If any incidents about to occur, then probably if we could set some kind of a thresholds, so we get automatic messages or automatic emails or automatic some kind of a WhatsApp also these days. So we can just try to proactive and those incidents can be minimized. So this is the way they might have come across with such data. The project backlog has been reduced by eliminating the unneeded security projects and audit preparation and replacing them with the preventive security projects. So we all know that there are some kind of vulnerabilities happen and each and every organization is targeting the security aspects more seriously, and the patching and the vulnerability avoiding is the security projects. Everyone is doing that. So, I'm sure you people are also working in such projects. Bill comes to the conclusion that the IT operations work similar to the planned work. The team is mastering the first way, curbing and hands off the defects to the downstream work centers, managing the flow of work, setting the tempo by our constraints and understanding what is the importance versus what is not. See, actually, this is very important point. We need to understand the priority, probably I should say, and the to whom we should give the importance. Okay, so this is what they have tried to put here. Sarah's group is trying to make the unauthorized purchase for online cloud services. Her team has 4 instances of using the outsourced vendors and online services. Sarah's vendor will cause parts unlimited to break their customer privacy regulations and potentially state privacy laws. One vendor uses a database technology that is not secured. I think we are working on the data privacy these days because European countries have got a very strict laws to have more data protection. So I really don't know whether Sarah is aware of that one. Sarah has been able to get away with the murder because she has the strategy to Steve needs, whereas Steve is execution focused. During the next Phoenix deployment, one of the critical database migration steps failed. Brent made a change to production database that no one know about it. I think again, even earlier also we spoke about the dependency on the people. Again, we can observe this one here. This change was one of Sarah's side project. Okay, so if I could try to portray this page, then this is a bit of the negligence on the data protection and privacy, then not giving the proper updates on which projects are going on, not having the fair updates to the internal stakeholders. Projects are part, unlimited are following much faster. The established Kanbans around Brent seems to be working. Sarah has been working with Steve as his strategy consultant. Phoenix deployment initially fails. We all know that. Sarah's business intelligence module, the team stays calm, creating a timeline to ensure launch can still happen with 20 minutes left until they meet their emergency deadline. They finish. So I think they are meet the target and they are able to finish the entire chain what they're supposed to do. See, my next slide is going to be a bit different. You all have seen a TED. Anyone can answer, please. TED. Anyone have seen it?
Yes, some videos from TED.
Okay, TED is the technology, entertainment, and design. Actually, when I was working with IBM, so that time in my project, I liked this idea and I started that TED in my project. And I was the one who started with my own ideas, and I have given that 15 to 20 minutes of idea to my stakeholders, which include the European stakeholders, and they loved it. So TED is something, by the way, I'm a registered member for the TED. And TED is something I'm really impressed. I'm really impressed, and I thought that I should share it. When we started on this Phoenix project, I was searching constantly if I could get something on the TED for on our Phoenix project. So ultimately, I got something which is absolutely fantastic video. So I really urge you all to just have the glance on that video and try to understand what exactly Jesse Stewart is the gentleman who's that video, and then that gentleman was ex-army in US, and he has tried to align his career to the Phoenix project, and how he has aligned it, I think that is really, you people liked it. So in this entire chapter, I think data meaning and the data privacy, these are the two highlights which we all should take as our lessons. We all are IT people, and we should think before sharing any kind of data to our own people who are might be in the sitting at abroad or sitting 1,000 miles away. So we should be more cautious what we are sharing, why we are sharing, and to whom we are sharing. So this is what I always say, try to understand that. And last but not the least, please look at this link, TED link, and see what is the best we can adapt. And probably if we could do that, then I think half of the battle within the IT, we are going to win that. So this is the idea which I want to share it. If you people like it, I'll keep sharing more TED videos. And even I have registered, and I have got one very nice idea, and I've requested TED, if you people could give me chance to share my idea for just 15 minutes of span, I'll be happy to do that. Let me see that how that goes in my favor. By the way, I'm a paid member of TED. So this is what is about the chapter 28. If anyone would like to have more discussions, question and answer, then absolutely happy to participate there.
Yes, Prasad, I think let's speak about TED, whatever you are involved with there. Sometime, later. Okay, means today or sometime later, because I'm interested over there. Yes.
Great. I'll share over the WhatsApp as well.
Yes.
So TED is same which we have YouTube videos, because I also follow TED. I have seen so many videos there on YouTube, and I listen to the videos. They're very motivating and very, lot of motivation you can get out of the videos.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Exactly. Yeah. See, TED is something it has got started very long back. Yeah. And just 1 minute, I'll take it. There is one lady from Pakistan. I'll share that link also. Please listen that. I'm really impressed.
Yeah, I think
I like that
video. I also heard that. Maybe the same thing you're talking about. Yeah, you can go ahead, Prasad.
Yeah. So this is what I have in today's presentation. If anyone wants to have any questions, then I'll be happy to do that, or I'll be happy to answer.
Actually, nothing from my side.
No, I think it was
Great.
very clear from that.
Let's move on
Slide.
chapter 29.
Yes, I'll share my screen. We
Yeah,
can
I'll stop it.
Okay, I'm sharing my screen. Can you just confirm? You can see the Phoenix PDF. Anyone, please?
Yeah, I can see, and your
Okay.
voice is loud and clear. Please
Okay.
carry on. Thank you.
Okay, so yeah, for chapter 29. I'll just try to summarize chapter 29 in like three parts. First is after the failure of the Phoenix second deployment, which happened. So these people, all the board members, they have joined for a meeting and they're discussing about the failure and the steps. What should they do to make deployments better? That is first part of the story. Second is Sarah, who is trying to do some initiatives, trying to take some initiatives and do some IT work and try to buy some stuff. So the discussion between Bill and Sarah and Steve, where Steve asked Sarah to discuss about in detail about the initiatives which she's trying to do. That is second, where we get to know about what initiatives Sarah is planning. Third is something which Eric, who is like the mastermind of this book, he comes up and he points out at some mistakes which these guys are doing, and he tells them that whatever you're doing is not correct, and you have to follow some specified rules to go ahead and have successful deployment. So basically, these three parts are covered in chapter 29. So we'll start with the chapter. So they're sitting, Chris, Wes, Patty, and John, all of them are seated in a boardroom along with Bill. And Eric is also there at that meeting, and they're waiting for Steve to come in and have a discussion. So they are now discussing about the Phoenix deployment, which went last week, and it was a failure again due to the database issue which happened. And Brent was the one who did some change, and as he was the only person who knew about the change, the rest everyone in the team they were not aware, so that's why they couldn't do anything. And again, it was a dependency kind of stuff on Brent. So that issue they're discussing, and Steve, he arrives. He's happy that despite whatever happened in the deployment and which didn't went well, but still he's proud of the team that they have done well and they have achieved a lot of things. And finally, the team is working together and trying to create something new. And he believes that this can be a game changer going forward. So they're discussing, and then Sarah walks in, and Sarah gets in and she knocks on the door and enters the room, and she starts about the initiatives. And so Eric is not happy with Sarah, whatever she's proposing, that he thinks that that's not worthy. And Sarah it reminds Steve about the IT initiative, and Steve tells that without any prior permissions and without any approvals, she cannot do anything because she's trying to start new IT initiatives. Like, so Steve, kind of he's not happy with Sarah, and but Sarah is also not trying to. She tries to justify that the competitors, like, they are not happy with us, and they are like, uh, and competitors are taking advantage, and so we have to do something. And that's why what she's trying to do is, she's, instead of developing something in the organization, she's trying to get it, like, buy it from some other competitors and some going external and doing some work and getting that work done. But Steve is Bill, who is in charge of the IT department, and he's in charge of doing all the development and all the application development. He's not happy because he's still trying to do something, but Sarah, is trying to go out of the way, go external and buy things. And no, she also, so if you see here the mentality of two people, Bill, who is loyal to the company, and he's doing something, developing own stuff. He wants to have his own time and develop. But Sarah she's also not wrong in one sense, because if I've read the entire chapter, what she's trying to do is she's trying to come up with the new initiatives, because IT here, they're doing their work, but still the Phoenix is failing, and most of the work is not going as planned. So what she's trying to do is she's also trying to help the organization, but she's doing it another way. She's trying to do something, trying not to create and develop from the organization, but she's kind of want to outsource that part, and she wants that work to be done from outside vendor, involve someone from a third party, and then get that work done. And then she wants this way the work will flow and the Phoenix project will complete. So two different mentalities, but both the end result, if you see, both would be same, but they're going like parallelly, head to head. So that is something which is very fascinating to go on this chapter. But Bill is not happy because he's trying his best, and he also believes that IT hasn't always been able to deliver what uh, deliver things in past, but and also the marketing and sales guys have not done their best, but still they have a lot to do. And what he thinks is the creative initiatives which she's taking, and he thinks that they are jeopardizing other important company commitments, such as like complying with state law. So one of the thing is that she's doing something without approvals and without going legalizing stuff. So they're thinking maybe that will have some issues with the state laws and regulations, and also data privacy can be a concern, and that's why also that might impact the Phoenix project also. And what he thinks that whatever she's proposing could lead to more data integrity problems in the order entry system. And because if you go further in the chapter, so because when we when we do some outsourcing, when we involve third party resources, and so what happens is we have to give access to the resources to our applications. And suppose you want data to be shipped, so the third party resources needs to get the access on the databases directly, the prod databases, which is again not safe because they're accessing your DBs directly. So Bill is worried about these or the consequences that might happen, and that's why he's opposing Sarah for the initiatives which is planning to take. So Eric, who is also sitting at the room, he listens to this initiatives, and also he's not happy with Sarah whatever she is doing. And so finally Steve Steve asked Sarah that maybe they can have separate meetings, and daily they can monitor progress and go over whatever she has done, and then they can see how it's going forward. So that's that ends Sarah's discussion. So that brief discussion happens, and she's not happy and she leaves, and now they move ahead with the meeting. So Bill, Steve, and Eric, they are sitting and they're discussing about what's happening and why it's taking time and why the things are not working the way. So first thing, Eric starts pointing out at the problems. So the first way is that he's telling that you're not able to control the flow. So controlling the flow of work from development to IT operations. So you have improved flow by freezing and throttling. So we have seen in the previous chapters that Bill, he had frozen all other work items were in on hold because Phoenix was working. So Eric is telling that even though you have freezed all the other applications, but your batch sizes are still too large because they are only working on Phoenix now and they're deploying, but the batch sizes are too large, and that's why the failure are happening. And the deployment failure which happened last Friday also was one of that same. And second, also he points out to Bill that you have too much work in progress items, and you have way too much work in progress still trapped inside the plant, and the worst kind too. So your deployments are causing unplanned recovery work downstream. So you have work in progress items, and as soon as the work in progress items are completed, they are deploying that. So that is something not planned, and it's causing problems downstream. So what Eric suggests that now you must prove you can master second way. Second way is creating constant feedback loops from IT operations back to development, designing quality into the product at the early stages, and you can't have 9-month releases. So also he's suggesting that you do a frequent releases. Don't wait for like 9 months long and then release. Do a faster release, and he needs to create a feedback loop from the IT operations back into development. So whatever is coming from IT operations, and so they have to. So IT operations are the guys who deploy things. Development team are just creating the stuff. So there should be a feedback happening from IT operations back into development. What's going well and what's not going well, and also it's telling them not to, take much of time in deploying stuff. Just do it quickly. And Eric also suggests that you should put Brent at the forefront, because Brent is someone who we have saw. He's no kind of person who has SME of the entire project, and Eric wants Bill to deploy Brent at the forefront, so that whatever he should work on the initial work items, and then the work should move forward. So they are discussing, and then Wes, who is also from the IT operations team, he's a person who deploys stuff. So there's a discussion between Eric and Wes about the reverse engineering, like, because what's happening here is whatever work is going into the repository, so the work is not going in one way. So work items, they are moving to the release and they're deploying, but that is failing, and they are again moving back that to the development. So Eric wants this should not happen. Whatever work they're planning, that should only move in one direction, straight from the development to deployment and production. That should be done, and no work should come backwards. So that is something which Eric, no, he kind of portrays that with a very good example. So on the board, there's one motorbike which is present, and Eric asks Wes about what is this bike about and how many gears it has. So Wes tells that it has 6 gears, and does it have any reverse gear? So West says that there's no reverse gear. It's just a 6 gear engine and it moves forward. So Eric tries to relate that to the work which they're doing in IT. So if engine which performing very well, it's not having a reverse gear, then why your system is having a reverse mechanism where stuff is going back from production to the development stage? So that is something which Eric is not happy about, and he's telling Bill to only maintain one pace where your stuff is going from development to release and production, and then it should not come back. So that is something Eric tells Bill to concentrate on, and Eric packs his bag and he leaves, and he leaves, and he lets he lets Bill to do whatever he has explained so far, and Bill takes over. And so now in the upcoming chapters we will see how they'll plan to incorporate all the discussions which they had in the meeting, the pointers which Eric told them about, like how things should only move forward and should not come backward. So this stuff was mostly about the chapter 29. So learnings basically here is one thing which I got from this chapter is they might be different people, different mindsets in one project, where people might work and might have a different solution. So maybe something, Prasad, with your experience, you can, and or Abdul, you can maybe would like to know from you that if we have different people with different mindsets and different solutions, like both end result will be same, but still, if the way of working is different, so how can we handle this in the projects? Hello.
I think some Prasad or Abdul is speaking on mute.
No. Yeah. Actually, I got a couple of good points from here. Is that okay? Too much too much WIP limit, work in progress limit. Okay, and whatever we are doing, we should be deploying. Okay, I think those are the couple of good learnings for me, because these things are really applicable in our day-to-day job, and that we are implementing in our organization, and especially I'm advocating these things.
Yeah, that were the two like major points.
Yeah.
And one more thing which I wanted to know about is like people with different mindsets in that team, right? Like if we see Bill is having a different mindset, and Sarah, she is having a different mindset. Both are working for the project, but they have a different way of approaching things. So yeah, maybe we have similar people in our projects also, where we have people working together, but they have a different mindset and different way of doing things. So in these situations, maybe we will need to be proactively uh, kind of maintain a balance and listen to both of them and see what works out for the project and then move ahead with that.
But I think sometimes if for example Sarah is doing deployment, or maybe Brent is doing changes in a production environment, but I think it's depend on the situation, because for example, if everyone is having access of production for editing or code changes, then it doesn't make sense. But it depends on the situation, I think, because during the project there might be a chances where we need to do the quick fix in a production, otherwise it will hamper all the downline processes. I mean all the processes. So I mean it depends on the, I think, situation, who is going to have a production access and with the responsible I mean with full or maybe can say dedicated responsibility, like that person should be at a, I think, a higher level or more technically and functionality strong. Then only I think we should go ahead with this production access, otherwise not. I mean, this is what I learned.
Yeah, I think that's we should have something. We should have a controlled environment basically. Like,
Yeah, control the environment.
yeah.
Yes.
Yep, valid point. Valid point.
Yeah. So let me start with
Yeah. Over to you, Mustaq.
chapter 30. So this chapter 30 is about discussion between Eric and Bill. As we have seen that there was a lot of issues, and they identify a couple of loopholes where process is falling behind. So this discussion is between Eric and Bill. So Bill was just trying to search the solution. I mean, was in a position to find the solution. So just Bill is calling to the Eric after the meeting with Steve and all three of them. So what during this discussion, Eric took Bill on a long drive on his car, and so Eric mentioned about his personal life, and in this one sec, yeah. So he explained about the Bill, about he was a special force in US Army during the discussion, and during this discussion he started with the manufacturing plant process. And during this manufacturing plant process, Eric explained that how raw materials comes from the outside, and then how raw materials process from one step to the another process, and how we are coming out the final product. So during this discussion, Eric was Bill was just a little bit surprised with this process, that why we are discussing these things and all. So Eric said to the Bill that you need to think bigger, like a plant manager, because not a plant engineer or something kind of, because if you think on a bigger way, that how plant is going to work, or what kind of bottlenecks we are going to face or we are facing, then it would be better to better to have a position to sort out this issue. So that's what Eric is saying, that okay, better yet think like the person who designed this manufacturing plant and all the processes is relied upon. So he's trying to explain that in manufacturing we have a measure called tech times, which is the cycle time needed in order to keep up the customer demands. If any process or if any operation in the flow of work takes longer than the tech time, you will not be able to keep with the customer demands. So this cycle time, these words we are mostly using in a manufacturing, I think in a terminology, and this what I believe what Eric is trying to explain, and he's trying to link with the manufacturing process with the Phoenix. So what he's saying, that means that cycle time of some critical operations in your area of responsibility is greater than the tech time. So that is the reason you can't keep up the customer's demand. So here customer demands is nothing but the Phoenix project. So as part of the second way, you need to create the feedback loop that goes all the way back to the earliest part of the product definition, design, and development. And then after he says that given the conversion you are having with the DIC, so I mean he's linking DIC here with the manufacturing process and Phoenix process. So what he's trying to explain to the bill that look out, he's trying to explain the process, and he's saying that look down at the long line of the equipment between the orange tape on the floor, and he's explaining all the manufacturing process where from which is the biggest profit or highest profit item, or any process which is directly linked with the production. If something goes wrong with that process, it's completely going down the process or whole production area. And what he's trying to say, that customer is trying to, even though offering the more money to get their work done, but what he's begging us from that, it's we had to turn them away because the setup time for each job took hours or even days. So we had to use enormous batch size to meet the demand. So we had this huge trays to paint and would bake as many as unit at a time as possible. So he is trying to explain that we knew that we had to reduce the batch size and improve the throughput, but everyone said that it could not be possible. And he's giving the example of Toyota, that how Toyota solved this problem is legendary. So what they did is they closely observed all the steps required to do the changeover, and then put in a series of preparation and improvements that brought the changeover time down to the under the 10 minutes. So bringing from 10 or hours to even days to the 10 minutes, it was a big achievement, I think so. So what he's trying to explain, that after a week of brainstorming, investigations, and experimentation with the engineering, so they got some crazy ideas. So what they thought that why don't we club the two processes like painting and currying into the single machine. And after clubbing these two processing into the single process, what they thought that they got it like benefits was enormous. And he was saying that it was a pride moment for his team. So when any defect were found, we fixed them immediately, and we didn't have to scrape all the other parts because processes were running on a single batches. So second work in progress was brought down because each work center never overproduced, and no any process or any item needs to be in queue. So most important benefit was that order lead time were cut from 1 month to the less than a week. And Eric says to Bill that you have got to figure out how to decrease your changeover time and enable faster deployment cycle. So he was suggesting like your target should be 10 deployments a day. But it was a surprising moment with Bill that how is it possible? Like it's impossible to do the 10 deployments a day. So Bill told one story to the Eric told one story. Sorry, it's wording mistake. Eric told one story to the Bill back in 2009. What happened when he was a manager or chief operating manager in the company. So how he's engineering that, how I think your target should be, and he was pausing for a moment, and he said that it's 10 deployments per day, which is not possible. Bill thought that. But Eric explained one story which was Olspawn and one another person was that Olspawn thought that DevOps and Ops working together along with QA and the business are super tribe that can achieve amazing things. They also knew that until code is in production, no value is actually being generated because it's a merely work in progress stuck in the system. And we know that if any code is, until we don't move into the production environment, it's just a work in progress, right? So he kept reducing all these batch sizes, enabling fast features of flow. In part, he did this by ensuring environments were always available when they were needed. So he automated all these processes, build and deployment processes, recognized that infrastructure and could be treated as a code, just like the application that development ships. So that enable them to create a one-step environment creation and deployment processor, just like we figure out the one-step painting and curing. So what he's trying to explain here is how we can club this DevOps development and operation processes. So Eric is suggesting that your next step should be obviously by now Grasper, in order to keep your customer demands, which includes your upstream development process, you need to create a deployment pipeline. So here is suggesting the DevOps stuff, and he's saying that he's not spectism, and 10 days is a 10 days deployment in a day. He was pretty sure that no one is asking for that. So but further he's stopping, he's saying and rolling out his eyes and stop focusing on the, he's saying to the bill that stop focusing on the deployment parts, and business agility is, he's explaining, or he's just trying to guide to the bill that business agility is not just about the raw speed, it's about how good you are at detecting and responding to the changes that market and being able to take larger and more calculated risks. It's about continual experiment. So what he's trying to explain that as fast as possible, if we will roll out our changes to the production environment, it will be good, and it will be good for the company, that we will be able to tap the market from the customer, and customer will be knowing, customer will be in a position to know as soon as possible with compared to the competitors. So here this all discussion happened between this Barrick and Bill and Eric. So I think learning point is that in this chapter we come, I think we come into the position where this book is trying to link the DevOps and development and operation environment, and he's trying to explain with the manufacturing process where raw materials to the final products, and I think he's trying to explain the how business processes work. So as I can highly I mean I can connect with my experience that this process is all about business process management, and in IT term which we are using, business process management, this word or this terminology is ultimately came from the manufacturing department only, and then after we are industry evolution started, I mean BPM evolution started, and we bring this process into the IT, and with this, I mean this concept like bringing down in processing into the smaller batches or smaller code, and then after if you start the process and it will be smoother, and it would be faster than anyone else. So this is what I think learning point for this chapter.
I think here in this chapter, whatever you explained, Mustaq, so I think these are the really fantastic and amazing things, and I'm really astonished that okay, these things are over here. Okay, and again, in our organizations, we are implementing these things, which the changes I am leading into. Okay, super means yeah, these are the really amazing things about the cycle time, about the process time. Okay, and beyond this one, and beyond this, we are going, and we are using the value stream mapping. Okay.
Yes, exactly. At the cycle time, we are currently actually we are using cycle time processes in my applications. So, our client is manufacturing, and once we are creating a vendor into, I mean we are onboarding vendor in our SAP system. So we need to track that how many vendors we have, specific country have created, specific person have created. So this is all are about the cycle time. So actually we are using this, what this cycle time means is, and what is the impact is going to happen with the business if cycle time is not getting tracked properly.
That's great. That's great to know. So
I think we should, sorry, Abdul, I think Sarfraz and Abdul, we should, right now we are 3 members, right? So we should